Chat, welcome back to the live stream. It has been quite a while. I didn't realize that my last stream was the Bally Awards. But apparently that's what it's been. It has been a month. About. It hasn't been a month, but we're getting close. Might as well. What is up, everyone? What's up, Arctic, Tony, Ducks, Austin, Frontline, Bulldog, Mavy, Bally Bro, Scowie, Grandfather? How we all doing? How we all doing? What's up, Ted? And 3, 2, 1. Hello, it's me. It's time. It's the stream. We're here. It's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a year so far. 2025. I'm giving 2025 my official Camaro EE Blade by his thumbs down so far. But hopefully yours is going a little bit better. I should mention, not like it's nothing like is going on to make it worse in my personal life, just the world in general. And the Balisong hobby, kind of, not really. It's weird. Today, I wanted to talk about this stream. I wanted to get everyone's opinion on the upcoming year, because 2025 so far, we're almost 1/12 of the way through the year already. I cannot believe that. But like I said, I'm giving it my certified thumbs down. Extremely loud buzzer. But for the Balisong community, I'm not feeling much more optimistic. I can't be on. I gotta be honest with you. I can't lie. I'm not feeling too optimistic about the hobby this year, but I want to know what you guys think. So that will be our main discussion for the stream today. Never see Camaro E and Blade Bias in the same room. That is strange. It's because we hate each other. We need Ghost Stream to come here. Ghost Flip. No, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't need 140 people who are completely unfamiliar with the Balisong hobby in my stream. The first stream back. Nope. No, thank you. 20, maybe in 2026, guys. Maybe 2026 will be our year. Maybe 2026 will be our year. I need to zoom in my camera a tiny bit. My framing is super off. Is that basically, that's basically the same. Don't mind me. Oh my god, it's such a sensitive ass scroll. It is so sensitive. Also, it is. There we go. Oh my god. 2027. Yeah, maybe 2027. Hobby's been quite dry as of lately. I feel that to an extent, but I also feel like there's been a ton of news lately that has been revitalizing for me personally. One of the biggest ones that I saw, I didn't engage with the hobby a ton. Like I said in my Blade Bias video that I uploaded today, my first time picking up a Balisong in like weeks was yesterday. So, I haven't been keeping up with it as much as I should, but there have been a few things that have been exciting to see. Machinewise made a few interesting announcements. The Nabali's Create With stuff is finally shipping. 2025 is looking to be a pretty good year for releases. You've got people like Shattered doing his new, I don't even know the I don't even know the name of it. I have to be honest with you. The Ruined? Is it the Ruined? I think it's the Ruined. Ethan, I just went 24-4 on Luna and outfragged our only outfragged by our Hella. That's my support brother right there. Dude, supports in Marvel Rivals. They're so good. I won. My biggest flex in Marvel Rivals probably is the fact that they have a deathmatch mode where you have to get to 16 kills first. And I won one of those matches with Jeff by like a margin of like 5 kills. So that's my biggest flex, is playing Jeff and winning a deathmatch against actual fucking like DPS characters. Missing the Superfly Z in your life. I have to be honest with you. I am not missing it. I'm interested in it. But there's a lot of zippy stuff that I am missing. Why is everyone playing Rivals now? Because it's fun. It makes you feel like Overwatch used to make people feel, except it's actually good. Well, I guess old Overwatch was good, so I shouldn't phrase it like that, but... Luna or Magic. I have the Orion. Would you say the blade inserts are worth it? If you like the Orion, then no. If you don't like the Orion, then maybe? I'll be playing Titanfall 2. Based. Honestly, based. Yeah, Ty, I would have planned on joining you around like an hour from now, but I've been a little behind on my scheduling today. So maybe I will join you at a later point tonight. We'll see how this stream goes. The moon haunts you. Yes, true. True. Thinking of copping a set of the wood spacers for my Orion. V1, yes. V2 or V1.5, I don't think they exist for. There's a god living in my head. At least I didn't wake up in the crazy house again. I love Moon Knight. Dude, I physically don't understand how people can play Moon Knight and not get any kills. He just shoots the floor and everyone dies. Especially in low rank where people don't shoot the onks. Holy cow. Do you have Starscream? I have a core class Starscream, or the equivalent of a core class Starscream from back in the day. I also have a core class Bayformers Starscream, but those are the only two that I can think of right now. I have Starscream's mold. This green guy right here is a Seeker, so he's basically Starscream, just a different color from the Bumblebee movie. But that's the closest I've got. I need to get an actual, like, properly sized Starscream. Also talking to him about getting some wood spacers for the Wraith Commission. For the V1, I do recommend the wooden spacers because it reduces the amount of handle weight. Like, the Orion V1 had very focused end-weighted handles, and the wooden handles kind of spread out that handle weight. The old FPS aim is slowly coming back. Dude, a different Rivals game, Rivals of Aether 2, has made me realize that I peaked in Rocket League, and I will never be as close to as good as I was in Rocket League in any other game ever again. Rocket League, I peaked Champ 3 before... Was it before or after they introduced Supersonic Legend? I don't remember. But I peaked Champ 3 in Rocket League. That's the highest rank I have ever gotten, or even, like... Gosh, even... I don't think I've ever hit Plat in any other game. Period. So, that's just making me depressed. No, but Ty, not just, like... Trust me, not just fighting games. Overwatch, Rivals, Fortnite, fucking any game from the past like 4 years that I've tried to play ranked in, I have not hit Plat. And I've switched off of fighting. I have gone so far as to hide Rivals 2 from my library. It was becoming that much of a detriment to my daily life that I had to get it out of here. It doesn't even show up in my Steam list anymore. It's still there. I can still get it, but there is no tilt. That game made me more frustrated than any game that I can remember ever playing in my life. And if you knew me like in middle school and high school, that is saying a lot. I used to be very ragey in video games. Holy shit. So to say that Rivals has frustrated me more than any other game is saying a lot. Do you like any Baron Sons Bally's? I have never touched a Baron Sons Bally that would comes even close to me describing it as good. What's up, Apple? Do you think makers will get out of the 10-inch Bally length norm, or do you think we'll see some smaller and bigger Bally's? Is 10-inch... What size is Machinewise's Bally's? Is Machinewise 10 or 11 inches total? Like how big is the Seraph? No, see, the Seraph is like 10.4, so 10 is even on the big side. Is 10 inches really the standard? I feel like the standard is like Kraken length. Like what's a Kraken? The Kraken's like 9 point something, I feel like. The Kraken Trainer V3 has an overall length of 10 inches. Oh, wait, that's crazy. Okay, so 10 inches is the standard. I think we, at some point, I think we're already seeing that, to be completely honest with you. You have Balisongs like the Nemesis or like the Shattered Designs. I cannot remember for the life of me what that thing was called. Why am I blanking so hard on this? The prototype that I checked out on Blade Bias last year. Rift. The Rift. The Rift is pretty short, or it felt pretty short. Man, wait, this is crazy. See, I was going to say I feel like we've been seeing bigger Balisongs, we've been seeing smaller Balisongs, but then when I go to name actual examples, I just can't think of any, which is really weird because I feel like there have genuinely been a lot. Like Machinewise is obviously a bit larger than that, but your overall question, I don't think you really see them stray that much. Honestly, if you get too long, momentum becomes really weird on Balisongs. Honestly, it even gets weird if you go too short. And then if you get too small, it can be a little bit difficult to flip. We are seeing small Balisongs in the form of like the small Sentinel S or Z. I don't know which one it is, but Jimpy's doing the tiny little one. And we had small Balisongs back in the day, like the 51. I guess the Hydro. The Hydro's small-ish. Corvus was a little small too. Corvus was actually not, surprisingly enough. I always thought that the Corvus was small as well, but the Corvus is actually longer than the Sirius V4. And the Sirius V4, if I can figure out their frickin' website, because their website is so bad. It's so difficult to navigate sometimes. The total length of a Sirius V4 is 253 millimeters, which is 9.9 inches. 9.96 inches. So you're getting up to 10 inches there. Ain't no way. Here, I'll show. I will not just tell you that. I'll prove it to you. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. Here we have the Corvus. Here we have the Series V4. This is the Kukri version. The Kukri version is a little bit shorter than the Tonto version. The Tonto version might very well be longer. But if I put them up at the bottom and line them up as best I can, the tip, there's no good way to do this, but the tip of the Corvus is slightly taller. Tiny, 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 tiny bit. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, the Corvus was like a short boy. And then I went back to the Corvus once the Series V4 came out to figure out why I like the Corvus more than the Series V4. And I compared the lengths and I was like, holy hell, this is taller. It's longer. It's a bigger Balisong. I think it ultimately, the Corvus blade is longer, but the handles are shorter, which may contribute to it feeling longer or shorter or whatever. So, the title of the stream. What do I think is going to happen this year in Balisongs? I got some predictions. Now, let me be clear. A lot of this is based on the current political landscape, because it has to be. That does not mean this needs to devolve into a political rant or a political anything else. These are just the facts of what is going to happen if the proposed things within the world get implemented as they've been described already. My number one prediction for this year, and I would say my confidence is like, it's not 100%. I'm not 100% confident. I'd say I'm like maybe 60% confident that we see something like this. I think prices overall... Thank you for changing my color of my pen. That's awesome. I think prices overall of Balisongs are going up. And you can kind of already see that. But if these tariffs come in exactly as they've been described, most of our Chinese brethren creating Balisongs, we are going to see a huge increase in price for their products. People like Nabali's, like LDY, who are importing things all the time, that'll definitely be a thing. But also, because inflation has gone up so much over the past few years, Brandon actually mentioned in a stream that he did recently that the price of Balisongs now should be way higher if they actually cared about inflation. Like even Squid, who a lot of people mention is too expensive or whatever, which I personally disagree with, but to each their own. Even they would be way more expensive if they were properly taking into account inflation, which has just been driving prices up and up. And I'm having a stroke with my pen. Oh my God. So I am expecting to see a pretty big increase in total prices of Balisongs, or alternatively, a drop in availability. I'm doing the YouTube thing where you just pull up paint and you draw arrows on it, but that is the thing. I'm expecting one of those two things. And again, I'm not terribly confident in that, but I'm willing to at least be confident enough to say it here, to say, hey, maybe we should watch out for this, because I think it is something that is going to affect us in the coming year, if not the coming 2 or 3 years. LDY ships from the U.S. warehouse? Yes, but they need to get them to the U.S. warehouse, my friend. And they are, until they are made in the U.S., the way to do that would be imports, which would be subject to tariffs. Assuming they're not doing some weird thing. They could be doing some goofy weird thing where they're like dodging that somehow. I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend to know about their shipping operations. But also, I do predict that this is going to be a hard year for Balisongs. Not just because of those prices. I really do think that the number of makers, as I struggle to draw with a mouse, is also going to go down. Because those prices are going to go up. People are going to be less and less inclined to actually pay those prices. And then we are going to be in a same situation as last year where we have makers either heavily scaling down their production or moving on to something more profitable entirely, a la Adam Heibel, Fellowship Blades, Olympus Industries, even Akuma, I guess, even though we don't really know where they went. But yeah, now do I think that this is going to ruin the Balisong hobby? No. No, I don't think this is ultimately going to be the crash that everyone's been talking about for years at this point, where everyone just dries up and the number plummets and plummets until we hit rock bottom at 0. But I definitely think this will be yet another year where the growth that we saw in 2020 that kind of kicked off and brought us, you know, up and up and up and up. And then, you know, we stayed in 2021, maybe went up a little bit more. The crash that we've been starting to see and the decline, I think will continue, but ultimately, I think we'll still be above the baseline that we were before 2020. I believe that to be the case now, and I believe that will be the case at the end of the year. I think we will still be down, don't get me wrong, but we'll still be above this line. What's up, Buffness? People won't be able to afford new, and more makers are going to have to stop or outsource products to other hobbies. I also, that was another thing that I kind of see. We have things like the Machinewise Sonora, which have proven, this is going to be a freaking awful ass drawing, but which have proven to makers that folding knives are incredibly profitable, far more profitable than a Balisong would be. Why does this looks like a folding knife, yet it doesn't? I don't know why. Put a freaking pocket clip there or something. I don't know. But we've seen that folding knives are incredibly much more profitable, especially if you look at Machinewise, than Balisongs were. So I would expect to see some of the bigger makers, particularly the ones that have their own products and have their own like machining capabilities, you know, Machinewise, Squid Industries, people like that, probably moving and pivoting to creating other things like folding knives or like other fidget toys. Probably not that, but other things that are still Balisong adjacent, but have a far higher market cap and farther higher profitability. So we'll see where that goes. That is all really going to be, like we said earlier, on my prediction that Balisong prices will be going up. We'll see by how much, but yeah. I understand the prices and all, but I can't afford them right now. As is, I think people might start buying clones more. I think clones, what's my predict? This isn't really something that I planned on talking about, but like, if you just want me to give my knee-jerk reaction to what my prediction would be for clones, the clone market was up, and I think it's been steadily going down since Nibali started releasing products that were actually good at cheap prices. Same with LDY, etc. I would expect to see clones level out or continue declining. I don't really think they're going to increase unless those price increases are super, super drastic. But we'll see. We will see. What's up, Yippee? So those are my negatives. I mean, obviously those are pretty big negatives. But I don't think it's going to be bad. Like I said earlier, I don't think this is the end of the hobby. Like I said, I think ultimately we are still going to be above that baseline that we set in 2020 before everything started blowing up. But what I do see happening this year, and you're already seeing this with content creators, I'm not just talking about myself, but with other content creators that I have seen talk about their plans in public or that I've talked to behind the scenes, I think this year is going to be a big year. This year is going to be a big year for content creators. And I'm using the YouTube logo here. Why am I so hilariously bad at drawing anything at all? There we go. I think this is going to be a big year for content in the Bally hobby because we're seeing a lot of people, people that I can, you know, think about off the top of my head, myself, Den, Brandon, talking about creating content that goes beyond just the standard slap a camera on your head and talk about a product. And I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see. You also have people on Instagram who continue to push the envelope with things like edits, Pyro, Balisong Nerd. You had the LDY flipping competition. You'll probably have upcoming online competitions. I think I just saw recently someone announced a flipping competition that'll be happening sometime this year. I think it's going to be a huge year for content, going far beyond just the head-mounted slop that we've been used to for the past 2 years, because that's what it is. As someone who makes head-mounted content, it's slop. It's slop designed to fill in the gaps. And now that those gaps have kind of been filled in, I suspect we'll see a lot more creativity in the actual content creation non-review side of Balisongs again. And I say again, I don't even know if we ever really got there. I think like the peak was, you know, the era where we had like Will Hirsch doing his stuff. We had Addison True doing his stuff. There might have been a crossover. I wish there was a crossover between Addison and Ty, because that would have been like peak Balisong content, honestly, in my opinion. You had Will, Brandon, Ty, and Addison making content together. That's peak. Absolutely peak. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big year for YouTube. I think it's going to be a big year for content. And I also think it's going to be a big year for flipping itself. I've seen a lot lately of flippers, people who are, you know, competitive flippers who make flipping their whole focus. You know, someone like Banks or Vaver or someone like that. I've seen a lot of talk about how they want the hobby to go back to flipping. I don't really know what they mean by that, but it seems like there's a push to get people to care about flipping more than just like collecting or reviewing or something like that. So I think we might see a huge push, and this could be with that flipping competition this coming up this year. We'll see a huge push in the flipping direction as well, which could be great. I'm hoping that's the case. Okay, what do we got? It might be inevitably more clones. They might start getting more expensive. Maybe we can hope clone companies putting in the work to make their own Balisongs. I highly doubt clone companies will put in the work to make their own Balisongs. But if the tariffs affect and overall price increases affect Nabalis, LDY, people like that, it will also inevitably affect the clone companies. So I don't know. I think I find some solace in the fact that, like, comparatively their value will be about the same as it is now, because let's say prices double. You have a $40 clone versus a $65 Nabali's cheese. People right now are buying the cheese or the Canyon or something like that. If those prices double, let's say there's a tariff that 100% extra on anything that you import like that, and it affects these Balisongs, it becomes an $80 clone versus an $125 cheese. Maybe people would pick the clone, but I have a hard time. Actually, I shouldn't even say this. saying it out loud, maybe people would pick the clone, but I personally wouldn't pay that much for a clone. Like clones are like sub 50, sub $75 things for me. If I can't get them for that, I'm just not going to get them. Everyone else probably won't be the same, but I think that's definitely a case where it's like comparatively the value is still similar to each other. Secondhand market's terrible to sell on, but new people can get a mint Kraken at like 150, so it's great for buyers and new members. The secondhand market, I mean, on one hand, I'm like, you shouldn't be able to profit off of buying a Balisong and then reselling it. That's just like scalper shit. Like Pokemon cards, you buy a new starter pack for 30 bucks and then you sell it for 100 because no one else can get them. The secondhand market's designed to be cheaper than the main market. I think people are just suffering quite a lot. LDY Comp was amazing with bringing people's creativity to shine, but I really hope people can keep posting great videos, edits, and potentially more short film style videos. That's ultimately part of my prediction. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think creativity is really going to bump up this year. What's up, Mystic? And I'm placing that really on the words of just the few people that I've talked to, which isn't representative of the whole hobby in general. But I mean, at this point, even if we get one or two people who produce something high quality like that on a semi-consistent basis that isn't, you know, review content or your standard like clips that I do on Instagram, then I think that's a win. Admittedly, the edit people, the people on Instagram who are doing edits, have always been crushing YouTube because there's multiple people doing high quality edits. I can think of 2, maybe 3 people putting more effort than just slap a head mount on and talk about a Balisong. And again, I'm not digging, it's just true. Actually, I can think of more than that, but I mean like going beyond like a ton of effort into like filming locations and B-roll and stuff like that. And even that might be debatable, so dude, we will see. It's also condition based, like whether you get your money back. It's rough having a knife you paid 600 having to let go for 300. Yeah, I mean, sure. But I also think a lot of these Balisongs aren't designed to be an investment vehicle like that. Like you get... Whoops. You get some things which will ultimately, because they're really rare and stuff like that. But you have a lot of... You have a lot of a production run of something like the SlifT. If the SlifT didn't get discontinued, I could totally see it going for like $100 less than retail on the secondhand market. But I don't buy that to get my money back out of it. I buy it because it is a solid Balisong that will last me hopefully a lifetime. Hopefully no counterfeit companies like Blue River. That's something I can't even predict. I don't even have like an idea of Blue River because ultimately, as it's how it works, if they succeed, other companies will see that and they will do it too. So it's entirely dependent. What's up, Remshi? It's entirely dependent on how well Blue River is selling those products. And unfortunately, I have seen people buying and posting that they have bought a Blue River thing, or hey, I want Blue River to do this or do that. So I could see it going either way. I could see the community banding together to not buy them, vote with our wallets, and then show companies that this is not what we want. But there could also be a huge silent majority who's buying these products because, oh, it's a tsunami. I get the experience of a tsunami, but for a fraction of the price. And then they're successful, other companies start copying them, and then the secondhand market becomes an absolute fucking nightmare. So I don't have a prediction on that one. My hope is that you're right and that we're not going to do that, but we'll see. You can buy a Machinewise product of any era, it's going to hold value. Except for maybe the current era, yeah, I would agree with you. But that's because it's rare and people want it and it was considered really good back in the day. I mean, realistically, people shouldn't be expecting to get their money back out of a knife. You should expect it. Balisongs are a moving, wearing part. They're a consumable, essentially, because the parts wear down over time. You shouldn't expect to spend, you know, $500 in a Balisong, flip it for a year or two, and then get $500 back for it. If it happens, that's great. That's awesome. But I don't think you should go in expecting that. There are things you can do that with, you know, toys. If you display them correctly and you're not playing with them, or even if you keep them in their box, then they can definitely hold their value. But especially if it's a big, you know, well-demanded toy. But I don't think people should really expect to get all of their money back of Balisongs. Because ultimately, like I said, you can say, oh, the SlifT is going to hold up for a lifetime or whatever. I flipped that thing for over a year now. I shouldn't expect to get, you know, assuming it was still in production. Let's say that. Because if it, now that it isn't in production, the value inherently goes up. If it was still in production, I shouldn't expect to get the $400 that I paid for that. I cannot believe they sold SlifTs for $400. That's insane. That's insane. Funko Pops are this type of stuff you would normally resell. Yeah, because you don't play with a Funko Pop. There's no wear or tear that happens on that. It's in a box, you display it, and then when you sell it to someone else who wants it because, I don't know, you can't buy it or whatever. But like Balisongs, they hit the ground. They hit hard surfaces. They hit the tables and chairs and metal legs and concrete and stuff like that. But even if you baby it, you're still getting wear on the pivots themselves. So I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on the whole thing. Because then if you, gee, yeah, it's a really complex thing. So I'm not gonna say like have an opinion any way or the other. But you know, if you're selling a cheese secondhand for $70, $5 more, then what's the point of buying a brand new one? Then Nabali's is struggling. It's a whole thing. Speaking of selling, now that my break's over, I should probably sell the 2 Balisongs I was trying to sell before I took my break. See if anyone is interested in those. JK knives hold their value like the people who collect and let them... Hold their value like the people who collect and let them collect dust. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by those exact words, but I think I know what you're getting at. What's up, Benjamin? So those are my predictions. I think we are going to have a tough but ultimately good year. If I had to sum up all of my predictions in one word, or in one sentence, we are going to face challenges, but it is ultimately going to make us a better community for it. I now want to know you guys' big sweeping predictions. What's something that you think, even if it's the most wild thing out there, maybe you'll come back to the stream in 1 year and say, hey, I hit that nail on the head. What do you expect to see 2025 for Balisongs? In any category. You think Squid is going to fall off? Interesting. Do you think their popularity is going to fall off, or do you think they're going to be unprofitable and be forced to fall off? I think this Blade Show East is going to be peak. That is perhaps one of the coldest takes I've ever heard. It's such a safe bet to say that Blade Show is going to rock more than last year, because it always does. So I'm going to call that you're correct on that one just immediately. I swear that most of the people who buy Balisongs like those put them as the same price or higher than what they paid for. Guaranteed they don't flip those Balisongs whatsoever. No, they do flip those Balisongs. That's the crazy thing, is I think JK people love flipping their Balisongs, but because JK doesn't produce as much as other makers, they're able to get away with selling more. Which, I mean, supply and demand. If there isn't enough supply, then demand goes up and prices go up, etc. But you don't see cheeses selling for $65 because you can just buy a cheese whenever the hell you want. You think Machinewise will discontinue the AL Sasori? I gotta be honest with you. Considering their release schedule, I would be surprised if that hasn't happened already. When is the last time they released a Sasori? It was New Year, because they had like spare parts on a shelf or something. But like, when's the last time they actually did a production run of the Sasori? This is complete speculation. I don't know anything of the inner workings of Machinewise right now. But I feel like that's not even a prediction. That's just true currently. But we'll see. Maybe they'll officially announce it. Squid will make a TI knot. That's an interesting prediction. Squid will essentially throw their hat into the ring of like the rep. Blade Show this year, I think Squid will have 4 new Ballys. That would be shocking considering how many they brought to last Blade Show. Considering how many things they haven't released. Actually, what has Squid not released yet? The Bowie Nami, the Trainer Blade for the Hydro. I think that's it. Am I missing any other big Squid things? Because they released the ProTech collab, technically. Folder. Yeah, they've shown off. They've said they're working on a folder, I think, haven't they? Am I going crazy? Hydro Trainers were at West 2024. Hydro Trainers were at East. The Comb Blade was at West. I flipped a Hydro Trainer at East. It sucked. I didn't like it at all. Do you think there will be a Kraken 3.5? Isn't the current Kraken 3.5? Am I smoking the reefer? What am I thinking of? No, it's the V3. Okay. Yeah, my fault. My fault. Do you think there will be a 3.5? How would it be different from the last ones, and would it potentially hit the $300 mark? If they were going to make enough improvements to have it hit the $300 mark, I don't think it would be a 0.5. I think it would be a V4. But no, I don't think that's going to happen. Lucas says he wants the folder out by Texas. Okay. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. The 3.5, if anything, would probably change up like the finishing or like the roughness of the texture, even though they've already done that. I can't... Gotta be honest with you, I can't think of too many improvements they could make to the Kraken, besides maybe making like another trainer blade. Would be pretty cool. Trainer blade? Sorry. Like, that would be cool. Okay, what other predictions do we have? Machinewise will make an OTF. That would be sick. Machinewise Marin V2. That was an announcement that I really like to see over break. Machinewise talking about perhaps doing like a legacy line. Bringing back and updating some old designs. Maybe 2 major ballys will collab for a limited bally release. That would be cool. That'd be very cool. I wonder how a collab like that would work. Like one company makes the blades, one company makes the handles. One company designs it, the other company makes it. How would a collab like that work actually? That'd be very interesting. Brandon said on Instagram a new iteration of the Vulp is in the works, so it's not TI either. I'm guessing it's a proper Vulp V2. Have they talked about this? Literally the ProTech collab? 2 Balisong companies specifically, I mean. Like, you have, like, Machinewise and Squid or something like that. Yeah, I think they had publicly talked about this. A Vulp, like, a version of the Vulp that is, like, a V2 existed before the Vulp Pro. So I wonder if he's talking about that? This is one of the first times I can say, like, genuinely, I am completely in the dark on what that project might be. I have no idea. So I'm actually very interested to know what that could possibly turn into. I think Will and Brandon will make a new Bally. It might be a whole different thing than the Vulp. I would love to see that. I would love to see them make, like, a proper new design with someone. I think you will make a Bally or 2. I can tell you right now that that will never happen. I've talked about this on stream in the past. I have a goal. I have a Balisong bucket list, as it were. And one of the things on those Balisong bucket lists is to design and create a one-of-one Balisong, kind of like Brandon's butter knife. But I can tell you, like, almost assuredly, unless Nabali's comes to me and says, hey, we'll give you the same deal that we gave Will, where, like, you design something, we'll make it, and we'll give you a cut of it. Unless someone approached me with that deal, which would be honestly too good to pass up, I do not wish... Actually, would it be too good to pass up? I don't even know if I would take that. There's so much that has to be thought about with that. For safety, let's just say I'm never going to release a design. I don't want to. I don't wish to. I don't care to have people constantly messaging me talking about how much they hate the design that I made. I don't want to expend the energy dealing with that. Isn't the Opus essentially a Marin V2? No, the Opus was supposed to be a Serif V2, but people like the Serif so much that they decided to make them 2 separate things. TI Swordfish. That would be interesting. Kind of like basically a Kuno, but a bit more standard. But yeah, I threw my hat into the designing ring with the Create with the Bally's thing. And it didn't get voted in, so that's probably as far as I would go. We'll see. Prisma was originally meant to be a Marin Light V2. Yes, the Prisma Pro, I would say, is maybe not a Marin Light V2, but at least a spiritual successor to the Marin. Not a prediction, but there will be another Create with Nabali's. So, okay, wait. When you say not a prediction. Are you saying like this is like an inside source? Because you're sponsored by them, aren't you? Are you saying like this is like something that is actually happening? Another create with Nabali's. That's interesting. It was so much work for them. I'm surprised they'd want to dive back into it just like... Did you say this year? Oh, no, you didn't say this year. I'd be shocked if they... Like, the same year that they finally released the last create with Nabali stuff, that they run another competition like that. It was an insane competition. I truly believe Create with Nabali's to be one of the greatest community events that has been put on, at least online, that isn't like Blade Show or the Bally Rave Bite Handle. For an online thing, I truly believe that was one of the greatest community run events out there. But it was just, it must have been so much work for them. What's up, Money? It is going to happen. I asked them in the first Q&A stream they did. I've been sent a couple Balisongs to make videos on, but they're not an ongoing sponsor. Oh, okay, my fault. My fault. I know that they have their... Let me actually find their website. Because I know they have like their brand ambassadors listed. Yeah, who is it? Will, Artsy, Seong Bay? I don't know who that is. Rob Heath, Den. Okay. My fault. I thought you were on that list, but you're not. Correction. I thought Ghost was on that. Wait. I thought there were a lot more people on that list. Will Hirsch, Artsy. Those two are obvious. Who is Seong Bay? I'm not pronouncing that right. I guarantee it. 84,000 subs. What the hell? Wait, I'm going down a rabbit hole? Ghost had an affiliate link for like a week before he decided it wasn't for him, I believe. I see. Okay. So it's Rob, it's this Xiong, and then Den. Ghost gave up his sponsorship because he didn't like being committed to a company. Gotcha. Thanks for the info, chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I have zero idea who this guy is, but he's got 84,000 subs. And he is branded like a Balisong. It seems like he's a... No, that's South Korea's flag? I can't see it. He's a Korean flipper? Am I not on that list? Will Hirsch, Artsy, Rob, Den. Unless there's a different page that I'm missing. Bally's... Okay, so maybe this isn't ambassadors. It's just collabs? I have no idea. It's insane how much culture we don't know of. Oh, for sure. Absolutely, dude. This guy is probably carrying the Balisong community on his back in Korea. Holy. You said you'd be uploading videos with a completely new topic starting this year. Relying on Google Auto Translate is probably not great, but... Okay, what's this collection look like? It looks like a ton of just like Amazon game replica stuff. Like you got Octane's Balisong, you got like 4 different Octane Balisongs, CSGO, BB Barfly, it looks like 3 different Yoru combs, which is crazy. Is this maybe an Orion, an Extrusion, Teflon Vulp, Unfamiliar Cheese, be a Squiddy AL or something, Flip Forge, I don't know what that is, Squid Trainer, the Spy, whatever that was, the Atropos Spy, Kraken. Yeah, it's just a ton of like CCC stuff. He's got the Carrot Balisong though. And the Fishbone Balisong. Huh. Yeah, from what I can see, most of his content is closed captioned in English. Anything with the English CC tag. So, yeah, most of his videos. He's got a wing. I mean, he works with the Bally's. I shouldn't even be surprised by that. I remember someone sending a picture of an HR photo product on a random Chinese social media with a lot of reactions and views. There's a huge Bally community that we don't know of. Oh, I guarantee it. The language barrier has probably separated us from so many of our Balisong brothers. He's referenced my videos for some of the English Balisong terms for his subtitles. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love seeing how the community changes. He's even got a Serum Velocity, the Astra, and the it's literally in the title, Ethan, the decode. Yeah, I love seeing how the change in culture affects the change in hobbies, because it's the same hobby, but obviously the people who engage in the hobby have a different culture than we do here in the US, or even in, you know, let's say the English speaking countries, you know, Europe, Australia, stuff like that. Feels like it revolves similar Balisongs, yet there's no interactions between communities due to language barrier. Yeah. I might watch one of these guys' videos. Not on stream, of course. What is this, though? I made a Balisong with the Ballies. Whoa, what? Is this a thing that's actually... I've heard about this. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting a bunch of flashbacks to people coming into my stream chat and saying, like, have you heard of the Korean guy who's making, like, a cat Balisong or something like that? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. This. I want to get a good view of it. Cool design. Almost... It gives kind of Vulp-esque, you know, with like the chevron kind of pattern there. I don't know what it actually looks like. Interesting. Oh, probably should just refer to this. So this is his design doc. He was inspired by fish bones and black cats. Oh, and cats becoming liquid and fitting to whatever container that they're inside of. So all of the hole cutouts are meant to be like little cats, I assume. And then you've got the fishbone here with the paw at the end. That's a cute design. And it's almost got like, it's got the Tay Flipper cat ears, but they're like Bowie-atized, if that makes any sense. They're over to the side. Skill hobbies have always been huge in the East. Wouldn't surprise me if the hobby is or is going to become bigger than the US. Dude, if we were talking predictions for the next 5 years of Balisongs, I'd put money on it becoming more popular in the East. It's a cool design. I like it. I'm wondering. Oh, wow. I was just going to say, I'm wondering if this is like a create with Nibali's thing, then he linked up with Nibali's to try and make like a single prototype of, or if this is going to be an actual product. It looks like this might be an actual product. Yeah, I don't know. Nibali's expects a cat to be released in Q2 of next year, so summer. Summer sometime. It will be an actual product. Cool. That's a very cool design. Having something that cute and unique be like a collab product that you'd be able to buy is... Ooh, and this looks like more official like renderings of it. Teflon coating, I'm assuming, but not only assuming, it said so in the AI generated video summary, which take with a grain of salt. AI is impressive. I certainly don't trust it 100% yet, as I think no one should. Oh, this part of the video is literally called Teflon. Oh my gosh, I promise I used to be a streamer once, chat, who actually looked at the things that were in front of my fucking eyes. Cool colors. Blue, pink, purple, white, orange. Yeah, we're certainly going... Their collabs have certainly been going in an animal-focused direction. We've got the Vulp, which is a fox, and then the cat. I wonder what the push will be to make it broader. Destigmatization. Currently, Balisongs are illegal in a lot of parts of the world because people don't understand what they are, but also trainers have a huge social stigma around them. I think if we, at the very least, get people to understand that trainers aren't harmful in any way and are, you know, equivalent to something like a yo-yo or a kendama, then it will become a lot more easy for people to get into it in other countries, especially. If the hobby gets huge in China, I don't really see people buying clones anymore. I'm not going to pretend to understand Chinese law, but my guess would be that if it becomes more popular in China, then more Balisong companies make products in China, which means that more companies would be able to actually enforce their design patents or whatever they have, like Nibali's did with the Vulp clone. So that could be. What's up, Evenstide? Can you give me a tip for holding my camera because I use a phone? I want to make more content. Get it framing. Try and hold your phone as far back as you can while still having the correct framing, because the #1 killer of Balisong content, whether it be on Instagram or YouTube, is flipping, doing a flipping clip. and constantly going out of the frame or not being in the middle of the frame or people not being able to see what you're doing. So when I do Instagram clips, I either set up a tripod that's far away from me so I can make sure it's framed properly, or I take my phone, I put it on the ultra wide 0.5 setting, and I hold it up here if possible. We don't have a problem getting new flippers, it's keeping them. Yeah, I mean, we certainly get a lot of younger kids who get super, super invested for like 3 months and then leave. But I don't really think that's something you fix. The Bird of Prey is another animal collab. Oh, whoops. The Bird of Prey, yeah, I mean, the name is animalistic. Is the design animal-y? I guess it could be considered animal. That's true. God damn it. Give me my OBS. OBS, please. Thank you. Where's the manta? Dude, I forgot about the manta. Holy shit. That's another animal. Not even a hate thing. There's no incentive for people to have and want that drive. There's a heart behind Shung's design, cat-themed and bright-colored Teflon. There's also stigma about Balisongs in Korea, just like many other places. Yeah. No, I totally understand that. Yeah, hopefully we can do some work to destigmatize them, but until people understand specifically trainers aren't dangerous, then we really have no shot of being, like, mainstream anywhere. Okay, let me really rapid fire chat here. I was chatting with the police about the legality in my country, and they just called me dumb for even considering it a hobby. And that I am in this hobby. Yeah, huge stigma. It's education. That's what it comes down to. Go to Ghost Livestream to see what people outside the hobby think. Yeah, exactly. Ghost Livestream is a huge window into what, like, your average people or average children, I guess, perhaps, based on how some of the people in that chat act. I'm not saying they're all kids, but like most Balisong content creators, you attract a lot of children. That's a great window into how, like, people outside of this hobby view it. It's a lot of people asking, oh, do you ever cut yourself? Is it dangerous? Blah, 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 blah. How do you do this? They can't fathom how you can do a chaplain without cutting yourself, stuff like that. Bird of Prey doesn't have an animal theme to it, really. Bite Blades will return. Is that your prediction? That's a bold prediction. Manta should be coming really soon. Cool, cool. Can we not bring trainer / false edge hate into the Big 25? Beaver, this is the Balisong community we're talking about. People are going to hate on anyone else for no apparent reason, no matter what you do. Those type of people don't understand. I think this is genuinely just going to be my response to the people who hate on trainers. The type of people who hate on trainers don't understand that the future of our hobby quite literally rides on trainers. Because we have a far better shot of dealing with the stigma problem and educating people with trainers. It's really easy to point at the blade that looks like cheese and go like this and say, hey, it's not dangerous. That gets us so much farther than you walking up to someone who has no idea what a Balisong is and says, yeah, and saying, yeah, for fun, I flip a razor sharp knife and throw it in the air sometimes. Like, normal, like, outside people aren't going to understand that. Outside people could understand a trainer, because there's no harm here. You can do cool tricks without the risk of harming yourself or others. Whether you like trainers or not, these things are the key to Balisongs being mainstream. Especially since so much of the target demographic of Balisongs is kids. And so many parents won't let their kids, rightfully so, play with a knife. People say starting with lives is better. Fundamentally disagree, but people are going to say what they're going to say. I joined a Discord call with some random people. They were looking into the LDY commissions. They were just shitting on kids for like 30 minutes. Yeah, I wish I could join Balisong Discords nowadays and just like have fun discussion with my fellow Balisong flippers. But half the time I see a VC and I know what's going on in there is them just being gatekeepy and bully people for no reason. Like half the time I'll sit in a Discord call, just kind of listening, you know, hanging out with the group, and it inevitably goes to just shitting on people for no reason. Am I the only one who prefers the Hydra over the Orion 1.5? The Orion is short. The Orion's shorter than the Hydra? Oh, so it is. Cool. I didn't know that. The Hydra's a very good, like, standard Balisong. I just prefer the Orion because it fits my flipping preferences a little bit more. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Am I reading this message right? The Balisong community Discord is kinda dying. Owner is letting it die, but it seems like one of the only places where everyone is just very nice and not toxic. Are we talking about the same Balisong community Discord? That's gotta be bait. That's gotta be bait. I'm not Jasper. Let me be clear. I'm not like I don't seek to invalidate your experience. But the Balisong community Discord is by and large considered to be like the no-go zone if you want like serious non-toxic Balisong communication with other people. Like it's probably the one Discord I've seen that gets universally shit on for just being kind of a shit place to hang out with other people. I like your edits on your Bally. Thanks. I don't edit. I don't do edits. Bold prediction, Pyro will win a flipping comp this year. I hope so, bro. 2024 was the year of Banks. You know what? Here's a good question, chat. If 2024 was the year of Banks, because Banks went from Rising Star to Flipper of the Year, he won West Coast Flipping Competition, he got sponsored by Squid Industries. Like, I would say 2024 was the year of Banks. What person is the who is 2025's? Who is it? Who is their year? What am I saying? Whose year is 2025? Why are we toxic in this community? We flip knives and look like dorks. There are some people who believe that you are not a dork for flipping a Balisong. In fact, you're the coolest person in school, which is psychopathic to me. $2025 buffness. It's the year of buffness. The year of pyro. The year of pyro. Definitely not my year. Yeah, it's not my year either. 50-50. Sometimes you get shit on, sometimes you get a nice answer. I won't try my chance. Every time I look in, because I criticized the Balisong flipping community Discord for a long time, and then I decided to finally join it so that I could actually form my own opinions on it. Oh man, every time I go in there, there's someone shitting on someone else for their choice of starter Balisong, for their choice of recommendation for starter Balisong. There's someone yelling at someone else for some crazy thing. There's someone slinging slurs everywhere. It's just an insane place to be. Pyro Bryson. Balisong Nerd. Bryson. Bryson's progression lately has been nuts, and I have high hopes for him. Okay. We'll keep an eye. So it seems like from what you guys are saying, you guys think it's either Pyro, Bryson, Balisong Nerd, or Buffness. Those are the 4 that I've seen so far. And I don't even need to comment. I've made my stance on the Balisong community Discord's skill advancement very clear in how it creates toxicity. I think the hobby is so subjectively based compared to other hobbies. There's not a guide into your flipping journey, so IMO, that's what brings all the toxicity. Yeah, people who think that their way is the only correct way that should exist. All the times I've been in general, it's exactly as Ethan described. Yeah. And it sucks. It sucks that the higher up team in the Balisong community Discord, because I have genuinely, I don't just shit on the server for no reason. I have genuinely had very good productive conversation with some of the mods over there who like genuinely want to make a difference and change it and make it less toxic. But so from what I understand, the owner of the server is like completely inactive, so there's basically no chance that anything ever happens. I struggle with a lot with the freedom of this hobby. I often feel lost in what to learn next, knowing that there are none or only a few resources like Trick List. Yeah, there's really no specific roadmap to follow, so getting into the hobby can be a little difficult. But that's what I'm hoping to see mitigated this year. The idea with that is instead of giving people a roadmap, you give them the tools that they need to build their own roadmap. So like, instead of me telling you, hey, you're a beginner, you should learn this trick, and this trick, I should tell you, hey, you have a Balisong that's handle biased. Here are the tricks that get improved by handle bias, and you might have an easier time learning on that specific Balisong. And then that subconsciously gives them a path to follow. Some people's egos are way too high with flipping. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of an ego problem with some people in the community. Have you seen the Bally Plus Necron on bushings? No, but I've heard all about it. Everybody started with big flips. Big flips, Artsy, Will Hirsch. I'm just naming off some of the people I've seen talk about where they learn their tricks. A few people on Instagram. I remember there was an account, it was like Bally Tutorials or something, who posted like slow-mos of tricks that I used for a while. I think the hobby needs to resolve the knife to buy problem now, as we as a community need to ease the learning paths for beginners. That is never going to happen. No one is ever going to agree on the best starting Balisong to buy. I see people trying to shit on the Canyon nowadays. Like people... Oh yeah, Squid. Good one. Good call. I've seen people who are like, yeah, the Canyon sucks. You shouldn't buy the Canyon. I'm like, dude, we're just being contrarian at this point to be contrarian. Yeah, and having a variety of things to buy instead of the definite one is way better. The community had resolved this problem. We know the 3 to 4 Ballies to pick. Now we need to make roadmaps. That's the thing, though. You can't make a roadmap. Like I said, you have to give people the tools to build their own roadmap. We need a new 2025 Balisong starter guide. We'll see. I have a lot of plans this year. I am not going to make them public because, like I said in my Blade Bias video, I am the king of talking about plans and then doing nothing with them. But I wouldn't hold your breath for it, but maybe be aware that it could possibly be in the works. Part of the fun is taking your own path to learning tricks. Yeah, for sure. And different people are good at different things, right? Some people are just going to inherently be better at fanning and chaplains or stuff like that. And some people aren't going to understand chaplains until they've been flipping for a month or two. Because imagine this. Imagine we say, hey, here's the roadmap, right? In order to learn the choker fan, you first have to learn the chaplain because the chaplain is easy. This isn't supposed to make sense. I'm just using this as an example. And then someone tries the chaplain and they just can't get it down. And that's going to stop them from progressing on this roadmap when otherwise they could just switch to a rollover or something like that, which could be way easier to get for them. So you might inherently lock some people out because of their difficulty in learning a trick that you consider to be super easy. Not going to name drop. Large followed and respected flipper I was excited to meet was checking my collection at West and said, "You've got cool shit. But unlike you, I am cool as shit." Then handed my knife back and walked away. That's so sick. Oh my god. Imagine huffing your farts so hard that you actually unironically say that to someone in a real life con and then walk away like you're cool as shit. Oh my god. There's no way. Dude, part of me is like, that's fucking sick. That guy rocks. The other side is like ironically, that rocks. But, oh my gosh, if he was serious, that's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. I unironically, if he's being ironic about that, I think that rocks. But the sad part is I don't think he was being unironic about that. Or I don't think he was being ironic about that, I should say. What's up, Income? Hopefully you're doing well. I learned fans easy behind the 8-ball and Helix in like a month. It took me a quarter of a year to learn how to chaplain. Yeah, I've seen some people learn to chaplain in a single day, and I've seen some people not get it for months. feel like PewDiePie's reaction to Balisongs is extremely accurate. Something about how it's so cool and lame at the same time. Yeah. No, the Balisong hobby, I think if you run around saying, like, if you see anyone, if you encounter anyone who says that they are unironically cool for flipping a Balisong, you kind of get an idea of what they're like as a person. Because I don't think there's really any rational person I've talked to in the Balisong hobby who legitimately believes that you are cool for flipping a Balisong. I think at least most of us are self-aware enough to say that, yeah, what we're doing is pretty dorky and fairly off-putting to someone who's not familiar with what we're doing. If it were that cool, I'd have more than one friend at school. Let's be honest, chat. Balisongs scare people away far more than they make people interested in you. It wasn't ironic. He bullied me multiple times when I was around his crowd, but it's hilarious because he's hardly 18. Oh. Poor guy's still trying to figure out the end of high school. You don't worry about him. Yeah, we are massive nerds. Even the best flippers. Like, Banks is one of the greatest flippers that I think we may see in this hobby for a long time. Genuinely believe that. I will glaze Banks all the live long day. I don't think there are too many people out there who would think, bro, that's the coolest person I've ever seen in my life. I want to make clear this wasn't me. I don't think you need to make that clear, Buff. Dude, I'm going to go up to someone at Blade Show and be like, yeah, your collection's cool. Unfortunately, I'm just way cooler. And then walk away. See you later, chump. Yeah, I would say most of my friends... What's up, Ghost? How you doing? I would say most of my friends, my in-person real-life friends, if you can believe that I have those, either don't care about Balisongs, think it's like... okay, it's cool, that's your hobby, whatever, but like they don't give a fuck. Or they actively think it's kind of weird. I've had very few people think that it's like cool. Better you are at flipping, the nerdier you are. I mean, hey, that's kind of how it is with anything, right? If you put in the time to be good at something, then you're inherently taking time away from doing other things that would make you cool. So good, how are you, man? I'm good. I am good. We're existing. 2025 has just begun. The East Coast of America is frozen. The West Coast is on fire. We're doing great. We are doing great. That was one thing that that I saw in Balisong community a lot. I saw people like having actual conversations. I think they were talking to someone who was younger, talking about how he didn't have many friends in school or something like that. I don't know if that's the exact context, so take that with a grain of salt. But I remember them like actually unironically telling this kid that because he flips Balisongs, people should be his friend and he should have a girlfriend. And it's like, I physically can't understand that people like this are real and they exist. Cool is so subjective. I don't think there's any hobby that everyone can agree is cool. Absolutely. And the more into a hobby you are, the weirder it is. Transformers. Goofy. Can't believe those guys are over 18. I'm pretty sure they were. I don't know that for sure. But -10 here today. Ted, I've unironically been thinking about you. I watch Ryan Holiall. I don't know if anyone watches weather YouTube, but I watch Ryan Holiall for the weather forecast just to see what we should expect over the country for the next few days. And dude, he's mentioned the freaking like negative like 30 wind chill that's supposed to come in or something like that in kind of your general area. Holy hell. Define cool now, because I honestly, now I feel like it's barely a term anyhow. Cool. How do you define cool? Cool is when you have an aura to you that draws people to you. I think that's how I define cool. When someone is cool, that means that there is something desirable about them that draws other people around them. Like the cool kid in school is the tall guy or the athlete who has the most catches in the football team, or the guy who scores the most goals on the soccer team, or I mean, it's dependent, because if you go to like a really nerdy school, then the really nerdy people who get really good grades are the cool ones, because those are the ones that people want to hang around. This is not my song. You ever tried driving in 8-degree weather with no heat in your truck or car? I have. It sucked. It was only once or twice, but I feel for you, man. In fact, my drive to work every day is so short that my car doesn't really properly warm up. And when it does, like, it doesn't warm up enough for me to warm myself up. So most of the time, that's my drive every day. -25 in Montreal. Celsius? That's like negative. That's like negative what? 40 Fahrenheit? Oh, I had my numbers mixed up. No, that's -13 Fahrenheit. That's still a lot. That is still a lot. I'm just stupid. We had -32 with -60 wind chills in 2023. Dude, that -60, I'm assuming you mean Fahrenheit. That is like go outside and freeze and die. That's insane. Me when I spread my ego on the internet and bully children for not getting significant others via flipping of pokey fidget spinners. Yeah. C and Fahrenheit converge at -40. Yep. I had that backwards. I thought they got further apart the lower you went, but no. Nope. I'm a stupid American. I use the imperial system, even though the metric system... Okay, honestly, all of you metric people are going to hate me for this take. Metric system's great. Celsius is worse than Fahrenheit. I have to say it. I have to say it. Celsius is worse than Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit makes sense. It goes from like, I don't know, -20 to like 100. 100 is really hot. And -20 is really cold. And then in the middle, it's like, you know, 30s and 40s. It's like pretty good. It's survivable or whatever. Celsius, negatives start at like 32. That's not terribly cold. But then, you know, hot is like 40 degrees Celsius. That's not even that far up there. So I don't... Yeah. Same with Celsius, but lower numbers. That's the thing, though. It's not, because negative Celsius, like negative 10 degrees Celsius, let me just double check here. Negative 10 degrees Celsius is still 14 Fahrenheit. That's still above what I would consider to be like dangerously cold. Because once you get to negative in Fahrenheit, then it becomes like kind of dangerously cold to go outside, especially without, you know, extra layers or anything. Freezing is 32. Freezing is the one thing I will give Celsius, but I just prefer Fahrenheit. Boiling is 212. That's the thing, though. When you're dealing with like weather temperature, I should mention, I'm specifically talking about the weather. I totally understand, like, scientifically, Celsius makes way more sense. But the weather, like, you never have to deal with boiling temperatures at all. Balisong stand that warms up the Bali would be cool. How cold is your house? Later, Beaver. See you later. Yeah, because water doesn't, like, water freezes. But you can still go outside without a jacket and not get frostbite. Titanium knives are not meta for cold. I don't think any metal knife is meta for cold. Maybe a coated knife, like a Cerakote or a Teflon. See you, Benjamin. Good discussions today. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate all your insights, specifically for the Nabali stuff. Got a quick question about pivot system. Pretty new to the hobby. I don't find many Bally's on bearings. Why is that? And the $200 or less. Bearings are not particularly well liked. Bearings provide a much different experience than bushings. Bushings inherently have a lot of friction because there's no moving parts. Everything kind of gets locked together, and then the blade spins around the bushing, and then things kind of grind together to make friction, but like not a ton. With bearings, there's moving physical balls rolling on a track. And because of that, there isn't much friction. There isn't much metal rubbing against metal. It's rolling. So you get a lot of friction. Sorry. You get a lot of momentum out and a very low feeling of friction. And a lot of people feel that that is uncontrollable. I predict we'll get another cheap steel Bally and another Bally cheaper than the Canyon somehow. I'm curious if the Canyon is cheap because it's steel or it's steel because it's cheap. Is that the same thing? I think that's the same thing. I think I just said the same thing. But I'm wondering if the relative cost of the Canyon is because they made it out of steel. I admittedly don't know. What's your favorite 4X? Dude, I don't even think I could picture anything other than a 42 in my mind. Just picked up a Frank P. LDY did their thing. Real. I predict that the rep will become cheaper. Crazy prediction. We'll circle around on that at the end of the year. I think it's going to be the opposite. Talk about a company huffing its own farts. That's BRS, baby. Have you liked the looks of any JK knives? I mean, I love the looks of JK knives, but they're just more expensive than I will ever be comfortable paying for a Balisong. Like the Orca was my grail at one point because it looks amazing, but nowadays, knowing what I know, I would never buy an Orca. generational run by EPS 2025. 2025 is the year of EPS. That's the type of prediction I want to see. That's the kind of thing that we can come back and say that you're either totally wrong or totally right. I predict much more crossover between the Bally community and the general EDC community this year. Okay, you guys have some good predictions. I gotta be honest. Some of them have been whack, but honestly, I love them. They're good. Glider disappears and disappears so much. Glider appears and disappears so much that I kind of forget they exist sometimes. Yeah, true. It doesn't help that the Pacific wasn't very well received by some people. BRS is going to potentially have a competitive aluminum trainer. Really? I don't know why. I just can't imagine BRS releasing something new. I really can't. Okay, no, but these are the kind of... I predict more crossover between the Bally community and the general EDC. I think that is the first step to growing the hobby. That is the first step to making the hobby more mainstream, is getting into the EDC crowd. Because the EDC crowd has, you know, cubes and kendama and freaking yo-yos and stuff like that like is considered EDC gear, or like worry bricks or fidget toys or stuff like that. So making sure that Balisongs get added to people's EDC kits. There you go. That's going to be mostly trainers though. I think if EDC people get involved in Balisongs, they're going to care a lot more about trainers. Unless you're talking about EDC knife people, then obviously there'll be live blades, but yeah, BRS making a competitive aluminum trainer. That's a crazy prediction. When's the last time BRS released something new that was like actually a BRS product? Because I know they've done like the Revo Nexus, but that thing sucks. Currently working on a bearing Balisong. Can tell you that my next Balisong will run on bushings. I mean, bearings work for the people that like them. Zippy is someone who I think has incorporated bearings in a really, really good way in his Balisongs. So, like, it's not to say that just because something has bearings inherently means it's bad. I'm just trying to explain why some people don't like bearings. Why it can cause that problem. Predict a movement of the Balisong community into alt subcultures as a whole. What, do you mean like the groups that are like Will Hirsch's crew and then like Balisong Flipping's crew and stuff like that, or? I predict that a sandwich steel Bally would be made. That'd be interesting. Like the Lucha. 101v3, a lot of fun. I think more people try it. It'll be a strong contender for a great budget-ish option. I would like to try one. I'll probably try one at Blade Show. I predict Ethan will win Bally Comp. Insane. That's the most psychopathic prediction we've seen all night. LDY could come out with a Grail that would be around 500 to 600. Yeah, I mean the Vixen, like you said. Benchmade is still going to fail to do what flippers want. My hope is Benchmade doesn't release anything. I hope they genuinely go back to the drawing board and take a good hard look at whatever they're trying to produce. They announced that aluminum trainer already? Who did? Are you talking about Benchmade or BRS? Whoopsies. My fault, my fault. I predict Ethan will learn the Bennett cherry picker. I don't even know what that is. It's a very Banks coded message though, talking about the cherry picker. BRS, wait, BRS already announced a aluminum trainer? My dog says hi. To your dog, I say, to quote Wheel of Fortune, I have just one thing to say to you. Or. It's not really a dog noise. It wasn't when Wheel of Fortune guy made it either, though, to be fair. Oh, I'm not signed in on Instagram. It deleted all my logins for some reason. Perhaps BRS. He perked up when you did that? Dude, that's so real. I predict that the Balisong head camera footage is going to replace Subway Surfers and GTA 5-esque brain rot footage. I mean, yeah, like, it is slop. I don't think there are too many people. I don't think there's many people out there producing head-mounted content who think that they are creating some sort of art. Maybe there is someone out there. I don't know. But I feel like most people producing head-mounted content are self-aware enough to know, like, it is slop. It's low effort. It's designed to just fill in the gaps. They posted a teaser that's been removed as of now. I see. Interesting. I was completely unaware of that. Do you live in New York State? Yes. Mort Flips is already doing Reddit stories over flipping videos. Oh, that's what you mean. So, like... Okay, wait. No, this... I completely misunderstood where you were going with that. So you're saying like the background footage for like a Reddit story, instead of being Minecraft parkour, would be someone's head-mounted flipping video. That's actually fire. That's a great idea. Or like soap cutting or whatever in the corner of like a video where you want people to pay attention. I wonder if that would work. Makes me want to do an experiment where we set up a bunch of Balisong flippers and non-Balisong flippers to like watch a college lecture or something. And then put up Balisong flipping clips in the corner and see if there's any difference in how much information is retained between the two groups. Like, is Balisong flipping content reducing attention span and attention bandwidth for flippers? Their manufacturer's page is Precision Plus MFG. Precision Plus MSG. Consumer goods. Oh shoot, they do have this company does have Balisongs right on their front page. It looks like a hom of some sort. Interesting. Can you play the guitar? No, not well. I keep saying I'm going to learn, but it just doesn't happen. Balisong flipping is the perfect voiceover background content. Not as brain rot as Subway Surfers, but it's not that crazy to where it's boring. I mean, let's be real. A head-mounted YouTube video, a head-mounted Balisong video is basically just a Reddit story with flipping in the background. Like, you use the flipping to keep people engaged in what you're saying. So I guess, yeah, you could say that, because in a sense, that's why head-mounted Bally content does so well. Got my first quintuple reverse cat. Holy hell. That's crazy. I like Will Hirsch head mounted content because the way the camera filters look great. What camera filter specifically? Because Will and I use the same camera. I guess we used to use the same camera. He got a new one. Will has one. Den has one. Why does every Balisong YouTuber have a guitar? Ty is also a huge guitar person. I don't know. That's a good question. I think because Balisongs are for teenage boys, and teenage boys think... No. Balisongs appeal to teenage boys, sorry. And teenage boys think that guitars will make them cool. I don't know. It is funny that a lot of Balisong flippers have guitars, though. Because, yeah, I guess Will does. Specifically how colorful the videos look. Oh yeah, he saturates the shit out of his videos. I think it's too much for me personally, but I can see why people would like it. In fact, genuine question. Have I just fallen off of the YouTube algorithm for Will's second channel, or is he just not uploaded in forever? He has not uploaded in forever. Okay, cool. Oh, and that sucks too, because one of his last videos he did was the interview with Pyro. I really liked that video. You guys might hear a YouTube video. I accidentally clicked. No, we're good. Clicked into the wrong tab. Another engagement factor of Will Flip's older videos is the surroundings, like in a park or on a trail. Yeah. Yeah, I do really like how Will did, like, genuinely varied locations. Like, sometimes he would be literally stone hopping over a stream while he's flipping. Other times he'd be sitting on a park bench. Other times he'd be sitting at a picnic table outside of like a chicken restaurant or something. Dude genuinely flipped anywhere and everywhere, and I loved that about it. Me and Pyro live 20 minutes from each other. Expect more projects from us in the future. Hey, cool. I love seeing all the collabs happening lately. It makes me miss the days where Ty and I used to be a two-man team making videos. See you later, Scalewee. Goodbye, Scalewee Shock. Yeah, the collabs are genuinely really sick. I hope we see more of those. That was part of my prediction with the content stuff. I mean, I guess I didn't say it explicitly, but I'm hoping we get to see more collaborations. I would like to collab. I have a ton of ideas for collabs. Again, I'm not going to give out any info because I don't want to get you guys hyped up on ideas that might never actually come to pass, but I have a lot of ideas, and most of them, I would say, involve collaboration in some way or another. "2024 felt more dead for the Bally community than 2023. Yeah, I mean, comparatively. I think that's fair. It's Will. And it's Will. His subscribers are like a cult following. A cult following? Are Will's subscribers like a cult following? Would sun-dried grass and gum trees with loud as fuck minor birds be a good backdrop? Don't really want to flip in my yard and room a ton. I think that'd be fun. Dude, if you can do something that other people can't. I talked about this. I think it's very interesting that in the Bally community, you have to do very little to stand out. Because most of the top creators who have been uploading recently just do the same thing. They do head-mounted videos in their bedroom. There isn't really like a necessity to stand out or be different. So I think if we see more people genuinely trying to make something unique about their style of content, it'd be very cool. I personally would love to have a little bit more life in the background of my videos, whether it be like birds chirping or the wind going through grass or whatever. Unfortunately, flipping in New York is flipping in 8-degree weather while also talking, which ends up becoming impossible in case you've ever watched my glider Arctic review that I posted all the way back then. My mouth was frozen. Frozen, frozen, frozen. And that's why in that video I sound like I have a lisp. Because I physically couldn't articulate my mouth enough to like not kind of slur my words. I hate going back and watching that video. Wish I had an IRL flipping buddy. Same. I have a few people who like dabble in Balisongs, but no one actually properly flips. So like flipping circles don't exist for me. Not a single soul flipping in Texas. I don't think that is as far. I don't think this. Sorry. I don't think that is as true as you think it is. Because this was another thing that I talked about recently. I don't remember when or where I talked about this stuff, but I feel like it's crazy that Atlanta has a huge flipping scene because Blade Show East is there. Salt Lake City has a huge flipping scene, and Blade Show West is there. How does Texas not have a big flipping scene? You guys have a Blade Show. I know Texas is like comparatively small compared to the other two shows, but I cannot believe that there's a Blade Show Texas and there isn't like a flipping community that pops up in that general area, similar to what we have for Salt Lake, the Salt Lake flippers and the Atlanta flippers. Found a guy in a city 2 hours away. It's in the community. We're planning on meeting up somewhat soon. That's sick. That's super sick. How do you start a Bali meetup? All the Bali meetups I've seen, genuinely, you just like put yourself out there. I wish I could do this. I can't do this. It's really difficult for me to do this because of my position in the community. But the one meetup I ever went to was started because Banks just like posted on his story. He's like, hey, anyone live in this area? And anyone live in this area and want to do a meetup? And it was an area that I could have realistically driven to meet up with them. So I did. So I feel like you just kind of throw yourself out there. See if you can meet anyone else. Make a group chat, whatever. I want to say there's quite a few flippers. That's not what I meant to read. Me starting the Georgia Flippers group was honestly life and game changing for real. Dude, the Georgia one blew up out of nowhere, I feel like. Because like there was always some presence in Georgia, but Salt Lake City always had you guys beat. You guys are actually rivaling Salt Lake City, I feel like. Like, you literally just gotta pick. You gotta pick an area that you think is central enough and say, hey, anyone live near here, and then set it up. Post and tag Bally Market, what area you're doing a meetup, get DMs, profit, basically. Basically. Dude, the cheese, I've been rocking the cheese the past day. Yeah, it's been very, very cool to see Georgia pop up like that. I mean, I say I wish there were more meetups. Realistically, I don't know if I would go to a ton of meetup. Maybe I would. I don't know. I am generally a more closed off person when it comes to in-person social stuff like that. But yeah, if I ever see a meet in my general area, or not even in my general area. I did that once or twice before on Bally Market. I got 0 responses. I mean, hey, that's sometimes how it's going to go. That is sometimes how it is going to go. Prediction that Texas will have a rise of flippers and meetups. That'd be very cool. Like I said, I'm surprised that that hasn't happened already, given that you guys do have a Blade Show. And I understand Texas is a huge state, but I just don't remember what specific part of Blade Show Texas is. Prediction that I will put Texas on the map as a flipping state. There we go. That's not even a prediction. That's what we call a goal, my friend. And goals are good. But chat, I predict that this stream will be ending. I do so believe. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. It was fantastic talking to you guys, as usual. Some good predictions. We'll have to come back to this stream in a year's time and see who was correct and who wasn't. more specifically, we'll focus on who was correct as to not make anyone feel bad, but we'll see how it goes. I am hoping that maybe my predictions are too harsh and the community won't suffer as much as not suffer, but be as affected as I think it will. But I think 2025 is going to be a great year. I'm hoping definitely that 2025 is going to be a great year for all of us. And I am officially back. I am. I will be releasing semi more frequent Blade. Just go watch the Blade Bias video if you want an update on what my year is going to look like. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Good talking to everyone. Have a good night. Flip some good Balisongs. Make some good choices. And I'll see you all in the next one. Later.